Hello and welcome back to Darren and Doing. I'm Hester and I'm joined by the brilliant Ben Bowman.
You're
Thanks for listening.
Yeah, all the best. End of the podcast. Oh, fuck it.
I don't know what to say. Where the fuck do we even begin?
No.
Can I just before we talk about Spurs? Yeah, I've had a lot of messages personally about my heart worry. Thanks to everyone that did get in touch.
Have you actually?
I went to I did. It was really nice actually. I actually went to the doctors today, and I pretty much got laughed out of the room. Like I was there, and he was just measuring my height. He was like, "Yeah, it's fine, mate." And then so I did a whole physical, blood pressure's cool, heart rate's fine, nothing wrong with the heartbeat. I did get diagnosed with a micro penis, but apart from that, you win some, you lose some. You know what I kind of had an inkling that I had that anyways.
Just confirming what you already knew. Yeah, I was more worried about the heart. I actually knew that.
Yeah,
I've coped with that for so long anyway.
But yeah, but to be honest, I think my heart stopped anyways after last night. I genuinely don't know what to. To be fair, we both came into the game expecting a really difficult game, and we both said we'd take a draw and move on.
Yeah,
but the fallout after, I weren't expecting it. It was so toxic, and he got so ugly.
Yeah.
Where do you, on the scale, because it did get extreme, rightly so. Do you know what? I think people were worried about this month. Yeah, and already this month's already looking fucking shit. It's supposed to be a festive, feel good month, but it's feel horrible. And I completely understand and get how frustrated people are getting. I do. But where on the scale, where do you stand with it all?
I don't know. I'm still fully behind the manager, 100%. Absolutely. Last night would have been really difficult for him, and look, he has to come out and front up that criticism for sure, because he's the manager. Managers have to do that, but he didn't deserve a lot of the other stuff that was being said about him, and it was quite hard to watch. And
it's really hard to watch.
It's been a. I don't think I felt this flat about a Spurs result since Newcastle 6-1, since fucking Conte's last game and all that shit. I just don't. I feel so just nothing. Just feel like absolutely nothing after last night.
Flaccid,
yeah, flaccid micro penis. That's how I feel right now.
That's the worst kind.
Yes, at least make it hard.
Try and do some sort of damage.
Yeah, it was just awful. I just feel like there's no energy to talk about. The thing is, none of us want to talk about the game because the game was so just overshadowed about what came after, and rightly so, because we were absolutely terrible. There's no way you can kind of pick it apart. There's no way you can go the thing is, if we'd have lost to Bournemouth last night, Bournemouth have beaten Arsenal, they beat Man City. Yes, they beat Arsenal with 10 men. City have gone through whatever they've gone through, but they're a good side. They really are. We spoke about this a lot last time. They are a really good side. So losing to Bournemouth is not a disgrace. People will see it like that if you want to have the ambition that someone like Ange's got, and I totally get that. We shouldn't be 10th in the league, despite the fact that it's really competitive this year and players can take teams can take points off of each other, etc. But I don't know. The Ange thing, be upset with Ange all you want. Scream Ange out as much as you like, 100%. And if that's how you feel, I get that. Look, I'm still behind him, but I'm not going to waste my time on my energy trying to convince you that he is the right man. But Ange can't go out and win all those duels that all those players lost. And Ange can't go and make those 5-yard passes that we were continually giving up all night. Ange can't, pass the ball out from the back straight to a Bournemouth player. those players had to take much more of the accountability and responsibility for last night. And I didn't see any of them walking over to the away fans after the game to front up criticism, which was rightly, everybody deserved criticism last night. The players, the manager, the board, everybody deserved it. It was a melting pot of all of those wrongdoings or not wrongdoings, but everything wrong coming together. 100%. Everyone deserves the blame. But I mean, yeah, Ange, I'm still with you, mate. I'm still with you. I'm not trying to convince anyone that he's the right man, but I'm still there.
After the game, I just wanted to give Ange like a massive hug, and then fucking punch him in the stomach a couple of times, and then go back to hugging him.
Yeah,
because I was so annoyed at him. Yeah. I was so annoyed, but when I saw the video after that from the away fans, I mean the sort of narrative is most of the time when the away fans turn, that's it. You're on your time. You're on bought time.
Yeah.
And borrowed time. Sorry. But yeah, it's just upsetting. It was really upsetting. Like, no, it was really like I actually felt emotional because I was thinking about the euphoria last season. For a lot of the last season, and how incredibly united we were, how incredible it was, and to see this a year later, and he's not the sole reason why we've collapsed, and I don't, like you said, the only fucking person to come and run over to him to back him and run along with him was fucking Jed Spence. Who would have thought that? Jed Spence, fair play to him. And honestly, pat yourself on the back. You're not listening, but he honestly, when I saw it was Jed Spence, I was like, fair fucking play. Okay, you may be late to training apparently all the time. Yeah. I mean, Postecoglou obviously Postecoglou turned around. He looked to see like who's backing him. And then he was like, "Oh,
right, cheers, Jed." Yeah, nice one.
It's like Steve Bruce when he's in the press conference. He's like,
"Hi."
It's like that when he turned and just saw Jed Spence behind him. Like, "You're right, Gaffer. Like, I'm playing against Chelsea."
Game of the weekend, Gaffer. Any chance?
Yeah. I'd love to see him throwing Jed Spence against Chelsea. Fuck it. Like, he's the only one that's backed. Anyways, what you were saying. No one's taken accountability, even in the press conferences after. He's taken full responsibility. It's cowardly from everyone else because it's a collective thing, like you said.
Yeah.
And no one at the club has come out to support him. No player has come out publicly to support him. We'll get onto it, but we got a game against Chelsea at home on the weekend. That can go either one way. It can go either way. It could be so toxic, a dross game, and we could go out with a whimper. Or we can create that siege mentality and go out to Chelsea and take it to them and all be united and prove that we are on the same page in this Ange Postecoglou era, like project. We're fighting for him. We're fighting for the future of the club. But no one's doing it. And it's a cop-out. That's what I think it is. It's a cop-out. He takes the brunt of it because he's the face of the club. He's the one that has to go face the media. He has to get he deserves a lot of criticism. Don't get me wrong. I actually think there's a lot of mistakes he's made, and we'll get into it. But I just not. He's not the sole issue at all. He's just part of it, and actually, he's the only person in the club with a bit of ambition and a bit of fucking braveness. Like he's come out taking responsibility. He went over to the fans not to take a pop at them, to say sorry and to say I understand the frustration when they're booing him, calling him a fat cunt. Like that's a leader. Surely we look at that and think that is a leader. I'm following him instead of the whimpering fucking gimps in the dressing room who have just gone and cracked on and then gone home.
Yeah.
After that shit show.
I watched Wolves get bad 4-0 at Everton on Wednesday. And I watched Gary O'Neill go up, think about going up to that away end. Players went and clapped the fans. Gary O'Neill walked over, got booed. They were singing "You're getting sacked" in the morning, which is obviously not a nice thing to hear from your own fans. He didn't even clap them. He didn't even go up to fans. He sort of went up to one of the players and turned around and didn't have the balls to go and say sorry. And we're 10th in the league, and all right, we might only be how many points off fourth, but we can't keep saying this. We have to look at where we are and what we are doing. And I think I've been well, everyone's been guilty of that to an extent because this league is so nuts, right? Like one win against, I'm not saying we're going to beat Chelsea, but a win against Chelsea and everything looks completely different again. We're back. We're fucking back. Romero's back. He's back. Fuck knows. But yeah, like I watched the manager there go up and show no bollocks to go and say sorry. I watched Ange go trudge over there. Well, not trudge. That makes it sound like a bad thing. But go over there, go to the fans, and hold his hands up and acknowledge that he's part of the problem, and it is down to him to change it. Like when you listen to the stuff that he's come out and said this morning, he's the only, like you said, he's the only face at this club with like any kind of real ambition, and it's not. He can't change these things overnight. You know, we were all prepared for a painful kind of rebuild, right? We were all prepared to go through that pain. That pain is kind of coming now, and people can't deal with it. And I get that. I do get that. And I'm not saying that we should just stick by it and we'll all be fine. I'm not saying that. But like I think he's probably quite calm. I think he's probably quite calm about this, and he believes in himself. He's the only manager that we've had since Poch really to kind of take any responsibility for any sort of wrongdoings, not just throw the board and everything under the bus. He's the only manager it's always, like we've said, it's always been about we. It's always been about the collective. It's always been about what we are trying to achieve rather than, feel like we've got a manager that will come in and win, put his medals on the table, and it'll be enough. Like, in terms of the long term, he is trying to definitely change that. Will he get that time? Probably not, because I do think I could definitely see the board at some stage bottling it this season, not taking accountability for any of the problems that are caused by them and sacking the manager. I could see that definitely.
I think he's gone in a month, personally.
Do you? Yeah, because we've got Liverpool, Man United, and Chelsea in the next month, and I'm not saying we're going to lose them all. I still think we could beat United in the cup when we've got everyone back by that game, hopefully. Well, not everyone back, but Romero, Van der Ven back.
Conte's last game was Southampton away.
Oh, fucking hell.
That was the breakdown, wasn't it?
Yeah, if we lose that,
that's in a week, isn't it?
The thing is, you don't back the players to get. Do you back the players to get up for that game?
No, I don't. And you know what? These players and obviously the board, they've hung out they've hung him out to dry. They've hung out so many managers before to dry, but the managers before have been biting back and shouting back at the board and back at the players. Ange doesn't do that. He's taken full accountability. That's what he doesn't deserve. He deserves the support around him, and he is completely isolated right now. And he's taking the brunt. He's taking the punches. He's a fucking like warrior, I think, and he's so brave. But again, completely like he deserves to be criticised. He does. I actually don't. So this is how I see it. I don't think the players. I think there was a bit of a narrative after the game of players have given up. Players aren't playing for him, and that's when you lose the dressing room. You've lost the dressing room. I think the players are just so tired, so leggy, and they're prone to making mistakes. Players are dropping like flies, and I think that is down to Ange because he didn't get. I'll get onto that, but we're like a boxer, who's come out swinging, gone all out with the relentless nature of the way we play. We're like a boxer that comes out in the first round swinging, has a really good first round, but takes a few heavy blows, but is looking really lively. And then they go and they got stitched, they're panting away, they got a black eye, and they go and then their coaches are going, "You got 11 more rounds, mate."
Yeah.
And they're fucked. Yeah. That is literally Spurs this season. Because we've got 2/3 left of the season to play, and we're all dropping like flies, and we are so fatigued. So, my thing is, if we get a new manager in the next month, do you not think that he's still going to deal with a light squad, injuries galore, a fatigue squad? This isn't going to. We're not going to turn it around within this season. This season's null and void almost. I know we're in cup competitions. It's not. That's a defeatist attitude. But if you think realistically with the way that our players are playing, with the fatigue they're showing already this season, and the points we've dropped already this season, it is going to be so difficult to work our way back up the league. I think we'll get to the stage in a couple of months, and teams are just going to be too far ahead of us.
That's the thing. The league is bonkers, but it will start taking shape soon.
It will. And we've got too much competition around us.
Yeah, that's not to say that like Villa and Newcastle and Brighton and that aren't going to drop points, or Fulham or whoever. Like Brighton lost last night to Fulham, Villa won in the week, but they had won in 8 games. That's not to say that they are going to just go on this run where everything clicks for them now and they be consistent. That could happen, in which case we will get left behind, because I don't see, as much as I want to just ride out this December and just see where we are in the new year, there is a strong case that we could just be left behind in that pursuit for top 4 or top 6, and then we're really, really struggling.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know, like when the cup competitions are the only thing that can sort of save it then, really, because we would have massively regressed like this season if we finish wherever. But there are factors in that are much bigger than Ange, and I think Ange is just kind of the tip of the iceberg. But naturally, being that tip of the iceberg, you're the one that's going to have to face all the criticism, because you're the only one that they can see. You're the only one that's coming out and doing press conferences and media interviews every 2 or 3 days. It's relentless. You're not hearing from the players. That's why you're not hearing players come out and go, we are fully behind this manager. We still believe. I said this after the Roma game when he got asked the question about, like, do you think you're just going to prioritise the like actually winning games over the pretty football or whatever? And he was just like, no. Like, it gave that really sarcastic answer. I was like, the problem is that there's way too many press conferences. There's way too many times throughout the week as a fan that you hear from your manager just talking about the same stuff, getting asked the same repetitive, derivative questions. And look, you're only going to part of it is that you're going to get asked the same questions if those same problems are in place. That's naturally part of it, right? If you concede the same type of goals or whatever, of course you're going to get asked the same questions. But it's not always down to him to front up that responsibility. And certainly after last night, I think those players have got to have a proper look at themselves, because the lack of application and the lack of like desire, and I think maybe part of that is coming down to fatigue. But I thought in that first half, especially before we conceded the goal, we looked a lot sharper. Like in possession, we weren't threatening them that much throughout that first half. But I thought a lot of the little intricate play and stuff like that, we looked physically sharper than we did on Sunday, 100%. But the lack of kind of fight, like those players just have a bit of fucking self-respect. Like, how can you as a group go and do that to Man City at the Etihad, not take that confidence into these kind of games? And that's not to dismiss Bournemouth and say that it's not a tough game, but even like Kulusevski, who we absolutely adore, and he's been amazing for us this season, lost basically every single duel, did nothing last night. These players constantly giving the ball away all the time. Like, it just felt so like spineless and uninspiring, and I didn't feel any hope about us kind of getting back into that game. It just felt really, really flat.
How much criticism does Postecoglou deserve then? Because I mean, obviously, you heard in the video the away fans, the Postecoglou, mate, Postecoglou, like, mate, how many? The way I see it is, we're gonna get into criticism, but it's like watching a film you've seen about 10 times, and you still love the main character, but you know he's gonna fucking die at the end. But you still, and that's how I feel. That's how I feel, and I just know how this is going to end. I know it, and I actually don't have any hope at the moment. I actually don't think we're going to have success with Ange Postecoglou. But because we've seen this so many times before, people were calling Mourinho clueless, Conte clueless. Some of the best coaches in the world, and Mourinho is probably one of the best coaches ever. Everyone were calling him clueless. Postecoglou's had a successful career elsewhere so far. If he leaves Spurs, he'll carry on having a successful career, I think. He's got the mentality, he's got the ambition. Conte, look what Conte's doing with who the fuck does he manage now? Napoli, yeah. Sorry, but like, I get come on, Napoli. He's doing well. He is a good coach. He didn't fit. He wasn't a good fit for the Spurs team, and thank fuck he's gone. But look, Levy treats us all as customers. Yeah, that's what we are. We're customers.
That's why on your ticket it says CRN, client reference number, not supporter, not fan, client. Yeah. That's what we are. It's not a
I'm gonna
bank.
be exactly. If I'm gonna be a client, then if I'm gonna be a customer, I'm gonna be the biggest Karen known to man. Yeah, I'm not moving from Ange's side until I see him with a finished squad. and when he's been fully backed. Because if Ange was given, I know Neto chose to go to Chelsea, but if say hypothetically, if Ange was given Neto, he was given back proper backups, not backups, but like squad competition around the defensive areas, a proper six, etc. If he was given all that, and he was and this is how we're performing, I'd be like, fair play, like this is on him. He wasn't given that, and we're struggling, and our squad is thinning faster than Daniel Levy's fucking hairline, and which went pretty fucking quick. And I like, again, we've seen this so many times before. No matter what you think about Postecoglou and his methods, you've seen quality coaches, world-class reputations, come to Spurs and fail because they get set up to fail. So you see this all the time. If Postecoglou has weaknesses, he has fragilities. He's all or nothing. You either get all or you get nothing with him, with the way he plays and with results. Levy is nothing. Like he hasn't got he hasn't shared the same braveness and that same ambition when it comes to like back in the manager, and I just think he's set up to fail. And I really I see him gone in a month, and he can't be a cop out for him. He cannot be a cop out. And Johan Lange as well, that fucking NPC. Yeah, what has he done since coming into Spurs? We had a good thing on Walter.
Walter, yeah.
Put your dick away, Walter. We had a. Have you seen that?
Yeah.
We had such an amazing, like, even if Paratici was the sort of like, what was he, consultant, and and then we had that scout run in the database, like analysis in recruitment. Gabbiadini, was it? Gabbiadini.
Yeah.
Mate, we hired an actual sport director, and it's gone to shit. We signed one player to come in and start. The rest have been youth products. It will be great in 5 years, yeah. But Ange has been hung out to dry again because he hasn't had any support now. Johan Lange, mate. I said before we started, he used up all his riz on an 18-year-old kid. He should be fucking put in jail. Yeah. He's given us Timo Werner twice. He hasn't even been at the club for a year, mate. Right. I cannot stand him. It's quite personal. Just his profession.
He looks like a bit of an NPC as well, like his hair.
Oh, he looks like a fucking career mode pro clubs character.
Yeah,
like a player character, non-player. Well, NPC.
Yeah, NPC. Literally
NPC, non-player character. Yeah. I just think there's so much wrong with the club. Like, there's so much, and my worry is we're going to sack a manager. Someone's going to come in. And we're going to go, well, let's give him the squad in January. We've got Heung-Min Hyuk coming in.
Yep.
It's like a new signing. You got Vuskovic coming in the summer. Let's just see how he goes with January. And all of a sudden, we still haven't got any like proper backups. We make about 3-4 signings in the summer, and we're still about 4 players away from making any progress. And it's back to square one. That's my thought process. We cannot let Levy get away with it. So before we get on to like Daniel Levy, because I went on a massive tangent then, how much criticism does Ange deserve? Because I don't want to bypass him. He does deserve criticism.
Yeah, he does. He does. Of course he does. Like any manager that would be in this situation, of course. Like I think he should be getting more out of this squad. Well, I say squad, but I think it's probably more about, because I think he should be getting more out of them, but I also think that with the intensity in which we play and train, I don't know how much more there is to squeeze, and that's why you need a bigger squad and a more competitive squad with players that are just ready to kind of come in, which then takes that blame away from him a sec. But maybe he's then got to realise that and go, we can't play with this intensity with these kind of players. That's another hamstring injury that we've got with Ben Davies. And look, hopefully Romero is back for Sunday. And we are missing Romero. Like, despite the fact that Davis and Dragosin and Van der Ven, despite the fact that Davis and Dragosin have done a decent job, like, we missed that ball progression out from the back massively with Romero, like we do. And I know people don't really like Romero at the moment because he's injured, and you know we all think he's going to be off in the summer, and he probably will be. Like, I think people are kind of dismissing his absence more than they're dismissing his absence much more than they should be because of that. But like we said, Ange is not blameless in all of this. Some of the substitutions I found consistently quite strange. But in terms of the system, I think a lot of the goals are coming down to individual errors. Again, that corner last night, people will talk about the fact that obviously, like, we don't defend set, don't coach set piece and all this kind of stuff. That's Dragusin not picking up his man. That's not Ange. Again,
that
that's
was
not
wank.
Like...
That was so bad from Dragusin, wasn't it? He looked, and you could see he was panicking. He ran to the line because he realised he'd lost him. And
at least let me try and clear it off the line.
Yeah.
So yeah, he deserves blame and deserves criticism, like any manager. If you're consistently not winning games, or you're consistently up and down and consistently kind of inconsistent, he absolutely deserves criticism. But we all know, and we both know that the issues run much deeper than him, much deeper. And I will criticize him 100%, and I have done that. But I will also get behind him because I think he is that only rock, that only figure that people won't want to believe in him, and I get that. And like we said, we're not going to try and convince you that he's the right guy. But in terms of being steadfast in his beliefs and principles and his desire to win things, he is the only thing I think you can believe in at the moment.
Yeah, he's isolated in his ambition, isn't he? And he comes out all the time backing himself, and it doesn't help him in the wider context and the wider scale when he's saying, I win trophies in my second season, like, it's what I do, mate. I'm telling you the facts. Like, he comes out and what's happening with him? It's almost like a fight. Someone's bigging themselves up about to have a fight, and there's a massive like street brawl, and you've got all these people saying, nah, you're shit. And then he's like, yeah, and it's like, you in what army? He turns around, no one's there backing him.
Yeah,
it's just Jed Spence. I'm with you, Gaffer.
Yeah, I'm with you. Please play me on Sunday.
Fuck off, Jed. I'd like, no one's the way he acts. It's just we haven't got the facilities for it. I do think he does himself. He's so confident in his own ability, and that's why he's been so successful in his past, and that's why he's made it to where he is from what he started with. And like, you think about back to 20 years ago, he's getting slaughtered on live TV on a morning show because his under 18s Australian like Socceroos didn't qualify for the like under 18 or under 21s World Cup or something like that. And he's made it to the Premier League, to a top 6 club, to Tottenham. And he still has the mentality that got him there and that got him the success in the first place. And I think he's going to use he's very, I'd say it's stubborn. I think it's stubbornness, but that's the stubbornness that got him there. But he hasn't got the facilities at Spurs to play in the relentless nature he does, with the competitions and the level of competition around him. There needs to be some tweaks or game management. And the thing about Postecoglou is that I think when things aren't going your way, when your team's leggy, when you're tiring, and when you're on a come down, you need to make sure that the basics are intact.
Yeah.
And I think with Spurs, the basics aren't there. And even stuff like game management, time wasting, shithousery, like frustrating a team. If it's not working for you, you can at least frustrate the opposition. You can't let them grow in momentum when your backs are against the wall. And we haven't done that under him, and because he obviously just doesn't like that. He doesn't like that side of the sport. But in the Premier League, when it's that competitive, sometimes you just need to, and you need to just revert back to basics. It's the basics of football, and then just work your way up, build your way up again. And we haven't seen that. And I think if we keep Postecoglou, we're gonna need to see that. Otherwise, it's going to be a complete and utter capitulation.
Yeah,
with the players, and the players are going to get fucking sick and tired because they're going to be like, remember when they were so fatigued under Conte, and they in the end they had enough. I think it could go the other way with too much attacking football.
Yeah,
the players might get like reluctant because there was moments in the game where the players weren't tracking back. They were abandoning the defense. There was there was so many times when we got caught in transition because Bournemouth's press was so good, and they had about 4 or 5 on 2. And if that Quattaro, what's his name? Quattaro? If he wasn't actually Quattaro, if he wasn't shit, we would have lost about 5-0.
The amount of cutback chances they had where there was just no one in the box tracking back their man.
Yeah, no one tracking back, and they just didn't look bothered. But I think they were just tired. But that's a massive problem. So you've got to adapt to what you have, and I don't think Postecoglou's going to do it. And I think that's going to be his downfall because sometimes you have to. Look, this is coming from a guy who's been diagnosed with a micropenis today. Yeah. You got what you got. I haven't, by the way. If people actually, I keep referring back to this. That was a joke.
Yeah. If you keep saying it, people will believe it.
I know. Oh, that's what Postecoglou is. That's all about Postecoglou. If you keep saying it,
that's
people
true.
believe it.
That's true.
No, but I just think I just think he's been set up to fail. But there is a lot of things that he can do to adapt, where you still keep the same motto and same principle of attack. We have to attack, but you got to do it in a sustainable way. And I just don't think it's not sustainable if you look at the longevity of the season and the cup competitions we're in. Yeah, I mean, your hardest workers, players with a track record of working hard, Kulusevski, Solanke, they're looking dead on their feet.
Yeah,
it's not sustainable.
No.
Yeah. So whatever happens now, Ange in, Ange out. Surely Levy can't survive this now, mate. Like, I think he's fooled us one too many times. And I think this time it's irreversible. Do you expect come Sunday, Chelsea, there'll be like a lot of Levy out chance? And like, how impactful do you reckon that'll actually be? Because we've had it before. We've had like quote unquote protests before. To be fair, I don't think people care enough to actually go to protest like 2 hours before a game and protest.
Yeah.
Because I actually don't think it's going to do anything. I think Levy's such a savvy businessman. I think he's cut ties with that emotional side.
I don't think he cares.
I don't think he gives a fuck.
He said it because at the end of the day, it was like, I don't listen to criticism and all that kind of stuff. It was just like, that's so tone deaf. It's unbelievable. People, like you said, people have tried before. There's been protests before. There's been Levy out chants. There've been the whole South Stand basically singing Pochettino's name. There's been all sorts. I don't see. It's not going to change. No matter what people do, no matter how much people protest, no matter how much the fans unite. Like you said, I just genuinely think he's made himself that immune to it. I don't think he cares, and that's really sad because people will put in a lot of time and effort to protest. Like, I think we all want new owners. We all want to win, right? And the common thread between all of these managers is that ownership that has held us back. I still think back now to. I thought about it this morning because I saw quotes from Spurs fans, because Spurs fans will still do this thing, and I totally get why. About they'll look at Klopp's record, they'll look at Arteta's record, and they'll look at other managers' record at this kind of same point that Ange is at, and Ange stands up with them. He compares to them. You're always going to have, especially when you've got that much of a rebuild like Klopp had to do at Liverpool, Arteta at Arsenal, and obviously Ange at Spurs. There's always going to be, there was always going to be up and downs with all of them. And when you listen to what some of the stuff that was being written about someone like Jurgen Klopp, and in his third season at Liverpool, his second full season, but his third season, where we battered them 4-1 at Wembley, there were so many articles I was reading this morning about like defensively naive, like this Gegenpressing, it's not sustainable, all this kind of stuff, blah, 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 the terrible defensive away record, defensive record generally, but especially like away from home. And it's like, you look at all that stuff and think that all sounds familiar. All of these managers who have gone on to achieve good things and are trying to knock on that door of Man City have all had their struggles. But the difference was, and you go back and look at Liverpool, and yes, they might have sold Coutinho for 140 million. And yes, Spurs have spent money since. They identified all of the problems and just one by one picked them all off, because they knew that they were probably only 2 or 3 players away from going on to be able to bang on that door, because they knew Klopp was a good manager. They'd already brought in Salah. They knew that they just needed a centre-half and a goalkeeper, and that's exactly what they did in the course of the next 6 months. Yes, funded by the Coutinho money, and Liverpool fans will have frustrations with their ownership and how they feel like they've not done enough. And some Spurs fans will rightly say, well, we've broke our transfer record 3 times since then. So it's not always about the board. And I do agree with that. But also at the same time, it's about moments. And Liverpool identified that moment as the moment to sell one of their prized jewels to make them more defensively sustainable and protect the longevity of that project and make them successful in Van Dijk. Same thing with Alisson in the summer. They spent that money really wisely. Sadio Mane was brought in as well. Like, these are game-changing kind of signings. And at those exact moments, that was such a sliding doors moment, that game, that Spurs-Liverpool game. And we've said this so many times. They end up beating us in the Champions League final the following year after we consistently finished above them and were consistently more successful than them in the league and getting to end of the cups and under Poch. I think they might have won a League Cup under Klopp before that. But, we were a better side than Liverpool, right? We were. They identified that. Oh, sorry, they actually had Mane before that, didn't they? But anyway, they identified that as a moment to shift the dynamic and become serious. And ever since that day, we have not done that. It happened under Poch where we had the chance to. All Poch needed was a couple of players, and that wasn't enough because we were building a new stadium. And yes, there are caveats to all of this. There are reasons that you can make case for the board and all of this. We were building a new stadium; it's expensive, and yes, since we've been at the new stadium, we have broke our transfer record 3 times with Ndombele, Solanke, and Richarlison. But you can't expect those players on their own to move the needle when the squad needs so much else. Like, especially with Solanke, like, people will look at Solanke and think that that's not a player worth breaking the bank on. But I think he's, despite some frustrations, and last night was another one where he didn't show that conviction in front of goal, he has showed that he can be effective and work in the system and be much better than the likes of Richie and be consistently good. But on his own, he's not enough to move the needle. So it's all well and good at breaking your transfer record in these isolated moments. But Liverpool identified what needed to be done because they knew that they were they knew that they were so close and didn't do it. And then ever since that day, Spurs have gone backwards and then had to try and play catch up. Also, the market's changed so much. Like, breaking your transfer record now isn't, Liverpool spending 75 million on Van Dijk then was a massive eyebrow raiser, whereas it wouldn't be now. So a lot has changed in those 5 or 6 years since then. But, it's been under every manager that we've not acted seriously enough. We've just done enough. Like, it feels like the board have just, the bare minimum, they've done enough. And the sad thing is that I don't see them changing because, like I said, they'll sack Ange and then they'll go and get someone else and feel like, well, you've got a lot of young players there, so there is a project here. So we're not going to really back you because you work what you've got. We'll give you a couple of signings, of course, but this squad is young. It's got plenty of time to grow with you. And look, that doesn't take away the fact that this squad does have plenty of time to grow and it is young and it has got talent in it, 100%. But how many of those players? We're going to have to end up replacing the players that are more ready-made, like Romero and Van de Ven and players like that, because they might see, well, we're not going to get anything here because Romero's had how many managers since he's been at Spurs now?
Yeah.
Nuno, Mason, fucking
Stellini,
Ange. Like, he's seen it. He's gone through all of it. It's just like, I don't know. It feels like there's not. Yeah.
Go on. What were you saying? Sorry.
No, I don't know. It feels like there's not like. I don't know. It's just shit.
Sacking Ange, sacking Ange is giving the people that want Ange out, which is, I'm not going to blame you for wanting Ange out. Like, I completely see it. You're giving them a new shiny toy with whoever you hire, and then that's your cop out there. That we did it before. It was shit. I don't think people remember how bad it was before we hired Postecoglou. We hired Postecoglou, playing good football. 10 games into last season, Daniel Levy in the conference. We've got our Tottenham back. Do you know what I mean? It's like it's so like manipulative, and I don't think anyone's going to fall for it anymore. And yeah, it's just even the data analysis whole side of it for new signings. Yeah, that's well and good. Use that as a backup. Don't say Brighton are doing it. Let's do what Brighton are doing and Brentford, because Brighton are going to fucking eclipse us because they've been doing it longer. And we thought, okay, we're going to use that. We're going to still carry on trying to get a bit more ambitious signings, not players from like Korea, like 18-year-olds from Korea that aren't going to be for the now. They're going to be for 5 years. And then you're wondering why Brighton are now reaching our level. It's like, I'm not going after Yang. I'm not going after any of these young players. They're brilliant for the long run, yeah. But we needed reinforcements for the first team, and we're seeing the consequences of that. And the recruitment strategy should be buying the best players from lower down clubs in the Prem, or going out and signing players like the Kulusevskis of Juventus' world, of they're quality players, great potential. We're going to get them on a bit of a cheaper deal because they're out of favour or they don't suit the system. We're going to buy them and they're going to carry that mentality over. And it's over time, we're going to start churning out the mentality. But the mentality starts from the top, and that starts with Levy. And then this Sunday, I think shouting Levy out isn't enough. I actually think no matter what your preferences are when it comes to Ange Postecoglou, I think unity on Ange for Sunday, when Levy's sitting at the head of the club, sitting on that throne at the top, reaping the rewards of all the money he's gaining through the business of the sport, where we're all paying to watch like dross constantly and giving our lives to the club and getting nothing back, like absolutely nothing back.
Yeah.
And so we need to hit him where it hurts. I'm not being funny. I'm not an advocate for this. If you got a chair, break it.
Yeah. And launch it.
What's that thing of what's that thing where it's like, if Bellingham gets suspended, we are burning the place to the ground.
Yeah.
Burn the place to the ground.
Burn the place to the ground.
Yeah. No, we're not advocating that. Mate, I am. Get your chair, snap it in half, spray paint all over the stadium, Levy out, fucking everyone's singing Paratici's name, because Johan Lange, you're not getting away with it either, you little gimp. And then and everyone's singing Postecoglou's name. Solely direct this at Daniel Levy and see if that causes anything. Otherwise, nothing's going to change, I don't think. And I'm kind of saying this tongue in cheek because I obviously don't want you to vandalise the stadium. I think that'd be ridiculous, but that's the only way he's really going to notice, because I really don't think you chanting Levy out, we want Levy out. I don't think he even fucking cares, mate.
Yeah, he doesn't.
He's ruthless businessman.
There was enough evidence to show that he doesn't care. As much as
he's
we
played with us so many times.
Yeah, exactly. It's so shit, mate. I feel like I've got no energy and no words. It's just crap.
So we'll leave it on Chelsea. If Postecoglou loses to Chelsea, mate, is he gone?
No, I don't know. I don't think it depends. Depends how bad. If we get battered, then I think there's a chance that he could get sacked, because, like I said, I think those owners will want to save face, and they'll sack the manager because it's in their control, you know. Potentially, I think it could get really toxic on Sunday. I really do. I'm not looking forward to it. I'm
going to work.
I don't blame you. I
don't think I'm going to watch it live. I'll watch it back. I won't watch it live. I can't put myself through it at the moment.
Just feel like it's going to be so last Sunday was so flat and sterile. Like, I just can't imagine what Sunday's going to be like, especially off the back of Thursday. It's sad. It's a sad place to be, bearing in mind the optimism and hope that I think we all had about Ange. And I'm still there. I still have that somewhere. But this is just like, this whole situation is just so jarring and just like so fucking... it's just draining, mate. It's so draining.
Yeah. I think in an ideal world... Yeah, it is. I feel like in an ideal world, Ange gets back to competing at the top. It's not an ideal world, though. I don't think he's going to be. I don't think... No. I think the proof's in the pudding so far with our strategy under him. And I think they've used him being an attacking football manager as a way of being like, there you are. You got what you asked for. Like, and we haven't got an in-between. Like, now we can't defend. But also we haven't got the backing to play the system to the highest potential, or the highest ceiling we can play the system to, where we can be a problem for everyone and we can rotate the squad. There's more players to come in refreshed, because what we were saying about Ange Postecoglou is that his plan B is personnel, isn't it? But everyone's either injured or fucked, like fatigued. And they come on and they're the exact same. There's no impact there because they're so tired. And we're only a third way through the season. So it's just, He's gone, mate. I'm not being funny. I think he's gone. If we lose against Chelsea, to be honest.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see us waking up on Monday morning to Ange. Thanks due to Ange and his coaching staff. I genuinely could see that. And then, what the fuck do we do? But we'll cross that bridge when
if you're at a game Sunday, do the worst fucking wreck the toilets.
Yeah.
Shit in the hallways.
Throw a pie at Levy.
Wreck your chair.
Actually, don't do that because it would mean you have to have bought it. But they are quite nice.
Yeah, so, don't buy the pie. Steal the pies.
Yeah, that's if there's any fucking left. The amount of times I tried to go and get one at half time, it's like, sorry, we haven't got any left.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No, I'm obviously joking, but I don't know where to go, and I'm really worried for Sunday, mate. What score predictions? Do you only want to do
that? It's weird because I could see it with I could see the players kind of showing a bit. I could see the players kind of showing a bit of fight. I think we'll lose 2-1, 3-1. I do think we'll lose. I think Chelsea's just too good right now. It's not the thing is, it's one of those things where I say it's really not the game you want right now. But then I don't think fucking Southampton at home is the game you want right now with this squad.
No game.
It's just like I don't know, man.
Because even if we lose to Chelsea, we can be like, well, we lost to Chelsea. If we lose to Southampton, then it's like, fuck, I'm deleting Twitter now. Like, oh my god.
Yeah.
I mean, if Jackson hits the Suey on us again, I think that's my final straw. There's only a certain amount of times Jackson can hit the Suey on you in your managerial career.
Yeah, it's already happened 3 times. And he scored against us at the bridge as well.
At the bridge, oh my god, he did. He's got a number. Fuck
yeah, he's a good striker, to be fair. I do really like Jackson.
Yeah, he is. He is actually he's quality, and that's why I'm terrified for.
It's gonna be Palmer just like this, isn't it?
Oh, don't even, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways,
buzzing for the game.
Yeah, cannot wait. We'll be there. If you got any thoughts or feelings, treat this as like therapy. And feel free to rant about or get a bit of catharsis out in the comments. I love reading the comments. Thank you again for all the comments. The last vid. Yeah, subscribe if you're new.
Yeah,
or follow on Spotify, Apple. Give us a rating and all the good stuff. Basically.
Yeah, nice one.
At least we got each other. Even if the fan base is pretty fucking divided right now.
Yeah. That's the most important thing.
We got this community. Yeah, exactly. We're in it together. We're all feeling the same pain. We're all hurting, all in different ways. But we're feeling the pain. And whatever happens, happens.
Yeah.
Iriola looks quite good, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
Does. Legends. Everyone, thank you so much.
Right.
Up the Spurs for
Spurs.
Chelsea.
Nice one.